Welcome! Today, I ask what the heck does Heihachi say in Tekken 8? Before we get into this video, just want to say thank you so much to all these people that have helped me out with these translations. This video does contain story spoilers, you've been warned, and in advance I apologize for the battle quote section. It's not the most comprehensive. However, if there are some lines that I'm missing out, please let me know and I'll be sure to add it in the pinned comments. Alright, let's find out. Somehow and for some reason, Heihachi Mishima is here. And honestly, I don't know why he's here. I don't know the story behind that, though what I will say is that Heihachi is back to his evil scheming ways, and that everything that happened in Tekken 7 was pretty much and is pretty much irrelevant now. To be honest, Heihachi has never been a good person. He just hasn't given up on his absolute power, ultimate power goal that he's always had. He tried that with Kazuya, Jin, and now Reina, and you can clearly see that Reina is being used and it's for his ulterior motives, unsurprisingly. He hates pretty much everyone that's related to him, except for his favourites, that includes Reina, of course. Other than that though, that's all I'll say. In game, this is localized as, "You think you're tougher than me?" He's actually saying, "Do you really think you can defeat me?" Before I get any further, he does say washi. Washi means I or me, and it's a pronoun that's generally used by elderly males. This is localized as, "I'll snap you like a twig," but he's actually saying, "I'll crush you," or "I'll twist and crush you." This is localized as, "You'll do nicely as a training dummy to test out my new techniques." He's actually saying, "Have a taste of my new techniques." This is heard when you face Jin Kazama. This is localized as two men back from the dead, we should try getting along. But he's actually saying, as a fellow survivor of death, why don't we try getting along? Yeah, right. This is heard when you face Kazuya Mishima. You thought some measly lava could kill me? But he's actually saying, did you think that I would die at that level? This is heard when you face Reina. This is localized as, "Training starts now. My plan depends on you awakening your devil blood." But he's actually saying, training begins now. Your awakening will become the key to this plan. This is not a bad translation or localization. Context needed to be added. There's no mention of devil blood or anything like that, so this is actually decent. This is heard when you face Kuma. This is localized as, "Looks like you trained hard in my absence, Kuma. Now, fight me." He's actually saying, "Kuma, it seems you improved your skills in my absence. Come." This is heard when you face Lars, Raven, or Leroy. Yes, he is saying this. That lava bath was the perfect temperature. I mean, isn't he a human being? Don't humans die from being put into very hot liquids like lava? Anyway. Come back when you're ready to fight. He's actually saying, be reborn and start again. Or, try again in your next life.
You win.
This is localized as, that felt good. Next. He's actually saying, that was refreshing. Next. This is localized as, I'm back from the depths of hell and stronger than ever. Though he's actually saying, I, who returned from the underworld, am invincible. Yomi means underworld. Kaeta means return. Muteki means invincible. This is heard when you face Jin Kazama. This is localized as, you did well, now die and leave the rest to me. Though he's actually saying, good work, leave the rest to me and die. Now here's one thing that was pointed out to me. Hilariously, the second sentence in the localization, where he says, now die and leave the rest to me. The original order of this part is fine. It's actually leave the rest to me and die. In fact, he says that part die last anyway. That made me laugh quite a bit. So I don't know why they changed the order of the sentence for the second part. That makes more sense than to say die and then leave the rest to me, you know? This is heard when you face Kazuya Mishima. I am the one left standing, me. Though he's actually saying, the last one standing is me. It just sounds better and it's less awkward because that's actually what he's saying. This is heard when you face Reina. Reina, you must awaken the devil blood within you. He's actually saying though, Reina, I'm looking forward to the awakening of the devil's blood. This guy doesn't quit, does he? This is heard when you face Kuma. This is localized as, you're the best sparring partner a man could have, Kuma. He actually says, after all, Kuma is the best practice partner. This is heard when you face Lars, Raven, or Leroy. This is localized as, never stood a chance against the invincible King of Iron Fist. He's actually saying, this is the power of the undying Tekken King. Give up. Accept it or resign yourself. With kanen meaning resign or acceptance, as in to come to terms with a situation. This is localized as, I'll grind you to dust and scatter you to the wind. He's actually saying, I'll send you beyond 1 billion worlds away. This part is localized as, you're not as tough as you talk. Though he's actually saying, you don't live up to what you say. If I were to localize this line, I would have easily gave it something like, you all talk, or something to that degree, because this just sounds off. This is heard when you face Devil Jin or Jin Kazama. This is localized as, you insolent cur. He's actually saying though, you young punk or you brat, with wakazo, meaning youngster, greenhorn. So pretty much someone who's a rookie, and it's quite derogatory to say to someone. Ne is a derogatory suffix attached to people's names or words that refer to people, animals, etc. This is localized as, you'll rue the day you crossed me. Though to be quite blunt, he's simply saying, you'll regret defying me, or you'll regret the fact that you went against me. Same thing here really, but they decided to go for a somewhat, I guess, archaic approach. This part is localized as, I've no need for you anymore. He's actually saying, your turn is long over. This is heard when you face Kazuya. First part here is him simply saying, die Kazuya. This is localized as, your delusions of grandeur finally end here. He's actually saying though, this time your ambitions will end here. The devil's power is no match for me. He's more so saying, something such as the devil's power is nothing to fear. Pretty much up to par with what he's saying. This is heard when you face Reina or Kuma. You better be ready. More so he's saying, be prepared. This is localized as, can you handle this? But he's actually saying, show me how well you can handle this technique. That's enough for today. Though he's actually saying, that's all for today's training. With shugyo meaning training, and kyo meaning today. You're making my blood boil, and this is heard when entering Heat Burst. Though if you face characters like Reina, Xiaoyu, Panda, Kuma, aka his favourites, you'll get this line. Which means, get serious. This is an interjection and an exclamation used to scold practitioners in Zen. Practically, he's scolding or threatening with a shout, and this can be heard when he performs the move Demon Breath. This means, I won't forgive you, and this is heard when he enters Heat Dash. What an eyesore. This simply means idiot or fool, and this is heard when performing the move Ultimate Demon God Fist under the stance Warrior Instinct and the throw Atomic Drop behind the opponent. Though if you're facing his favourites, you'll probably hear this one, which means eat this. This is one example of the phrases changing here. He also says these lines towards his favourites, which means not yet, which means you're lenient. This means that doesn't work on me. And when he's in heat, this can be heard when performing a successful mid or high attack reversal under the move Charging Hard. This means shallow, as in shallow hit. Amaiwa, which means you're weak. And this is heard during the move Firestarter. Try again, or make another start. So in this context he's saying, try again, start from the beginning. And this line can be heard with the move Zenith Muso Tekken, perfect input, and the throw Thunder Broken Toy under Thunder God's Kamae stance. This means this is the end, and this can be heard when he performs the move Zenith Rashomon, but only when you get a perfect input. This one was racking my brain, but I believe he's saying absurd or pitiful or laughable, and this can be heard with the move Guillotine Drop. Ouch! This simply means die, and this can be heard when he performs the move Hooking Crescent Kick amongst other moves. This is a very harsh way of saying die. You'll hear these lines whenever a move comes into contact with these limbs. Correction though, this is actually a practice done in martial arts for intent, so it's kind of like I'm going to go for this limb, so they'll just shout that out and they'll perform it, rather than it being a heads up. Which means you idiot, and it's an old-fashioned way of saying this. When it comes to characters that he hates like Jin, Lee, etc., he'll say which means you brat. Though when he does this move towards his favorite people, he'll get this line, which means like this. So funnily enough, he's simply teaching them his head-butting technique as an exemplification. This means it's useless. Just means what? And this is heard when a throw tackle is blocked or when parrying occurs. And this means impossible or it can't be. This is heard when he's knocked out. Despite my dislike for his return in this game, Taiten Kusunoki does a great job of voicing Heihachi. I do think he does capture that dysfunctional Japanese dad trope that we have seen, especially with Heihachi in this context. There is that Daisuke Gori influence. Rest in peace to him. He was the voice actor for Heihachi from Tekken 3 to 6. Afterwards, Unsho Ishizuka voiced him from Blood Vengeance to Tekken 7. He did an amazing job with Heihachi as well. Rest in peace to him. So again, it's just continuing that legacy. Shout out to Taiten Kusunoki. I'm curious as to how the heck they're going to fit this character in the games again, considering Jin and Kazuya got a lot of screen time. Heihachi is more of the main attraction now, so it seems. That concludes the video and answers this question. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.